Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, I do apologize for that extended break. Again, a lot of downtime here. Once again, I don't necessarily blame them, just because we're waiting for matches to finish, and also of course we are having all the players setting up on stage, and especially day one of the tournament there can be delays, right? There can be delays, there can be some things that slow things down, of course, just because you're at an offline event, you have a foreign setup, and there's definitely some teething issues that can occur in the first day. I would hope that that does clear up coming into day 2 onwards. I would hope so, at least. I would hope so. Regardless, let's go. Let's jump into our third series of the broadcast. We have the decider match. Oliveira did take down Jieshi, and Oliveira is the first player to advance on out of Group D. Now we're here to determine who will be the second player to make it through the group. Who's going to be the second player here? It's going to be a best of 3 between Trap and Jieshi to determine which of these two Protoss players will be joining Oliveira in the playoffs. Let's go. Let us go. Vetoes are done, and our PvP is upon us. Vamonos. Vamonos. It's catching up. Catching up in the group. We're catching up in the chat. Yeah. Oh, the Team Salmon talk. True, true. Yeah, I was a big fan of, I mean, personally, I enjoyed SSL more than GSL, right? Like, SSL had the production. They had the production. They had all the outside content as well. Spots of E-Star League, Pro League, of course, as well. Those were the days. And I guess it's a little bit relevant to some of the legends that we're seeing here today as well, of course. True, true. Shout out to Sojung and all the content they were making with like 20, was like 21 questions, 21 answers, or like 7 questions, 7 answers. The beeper games, group selection, of course, Pro League matches. Was all there. Back was all there. We're so old. But regardless, we're getting into our fresh series here. Again, vetoes are done, and we're about to get into our best of 3. Coming into this, I was going to say I gave the edge to Jieshi versus Oliveira, but hey, Oliveira did bring him down. So we'll see how our two Protoss players do face off as we're jumping into game number 1. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Green Protoss player. The blue Protoss, it is Trap. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss, it is Jieshi. Oh, let's go. Let us go. We're jumping into our first series here. We're jumping into At Attorney's Edge. Welcome, one and all. Now, we could discuss the map a little bit, and it is a slightly larger map, more of a mid-sized map, and we could see a little more mid-game play, but PvP is known for what? Known for aggression, known for proxies, known for all-ins. If we were casting Hero, Classic, Max Pack, Showtime, the best of the best, then I would expect non-stop all-ins and never a third base. But with Trap and Jieshi jumping into the ring here, we might actually embrace the mid-game. It is possible. I would hope to see some more aggressive back and forth as we're used to seeing, but we'll see how our players decide to open up, whether we proxy, whether we commit, or whether we do decide to calm down and expand. For now, we are going to be opening up, and again, my curiosity here is going to be piqued once we get into our tech of choice and once we get into our early game production. Vamonos. Vamonos. I really liked SSL. Yeah. Like, SSL, in my opinion, was peak StarCraft. Like, not to say anything badly about GSL, those good games, of course, as well, but I feel like SSL did have a better show, to be honest. We were vocal about that at the time. Like, SSL had better production, better show. Like, there was a lot more going on with SSL. Yeah. There we go. All right. Also, my apologies, I did forget. But if you're in the chats, it's Gamba time. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open, and place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chats as we delve into our PvP. So best of luck with those predictions, bearing in mind that the predictions are for the series, not just for the game. And already we do have Trap going for the faster Nexus. So single gas opener into the faster Nexus, greedier build out of Trap, and how will Jieshi respond? Sorry, that was... Trap's name is above, so I just associated it with the player. Jieshi cuts corners. Jieshi does go for a single gas opener. Jieshi does go for the faster expand, and Trap responds with a 1-base all-in. Let's go. Proxy piling gets thrown down. It's going to be a reactive all-in going into the rover. Because it's reactive, it's going to be a little bit more delayed here, but regardless, Trap is going to commit. Eyes are on that probe, and oh no, he saw him! Jieshi saw the pylon. He knows he's going to double check as well, and Jieshi has the foresight. Yep, there we go. Does double check, does confirm the 1-base all in, and we'll see if Trap can pull this off as Jieshi now can shut this down. He looked his own away. He can look to focus on the pylon and disrupt and delay the all-in. It's a shaky start here for Trap. The plus side, of course, is that Jieshi did go for a greedier build, and the Nexus won't help too much in the defense, but we'll see. Also, something that I should bring up as well in regards to the patch is that, remember, the shield battery was nerfed, and that will impact defensive play in PvP as well, 100%. As batteries are a big part of surviving the early game aggression and getting in towards the set and surviving all-ins. Remember, the battery now begins with 75 energy, not 100. True. For now, though, we're setting up. It is going to be a Stargate out of Jieshi. With this, we can get the defensive Void Rays. Defensive Void Rays. Bet on Zerg. True, true. Is Trap back, or did they bring him back for the tournament? They brought everyone back for the tournaments. Trap, Oliveira, Innovation, TY, Fantasy, Impact, Sue. It's a Legends tournament. They brought them all back. There is some speculation that maybe Neeb has returned in a more permanent fashion, but the only reason why people speculate that is because he joined onside, right? But we have seen instances where a player joins a team just for a tournament, like that's happened before. Meanwhile, the first pylon is going to be focused down. Ooh, the pylon does fall. Batteries are depowered. The Atosis pylon does fall. Void Ray will buy some time, but we have Stalkers to reinforce. And Stalkers are warping in. Jieshi supply blocked. The Void Ray does try to give chase. So far, good juggling. Yeah, nice juggling here. The Void Ray is going to be forced back. It does not sustain any hull damage yet, but is getting quite low. Yeah, Void Ray is still quite low. Warp Gate just now finishing up here for Jieshi. Finishing up Warp Gate. Yes, Trap. He now has up to 5 Stalkers. And Void Rays are going to be ideal against the Immortals, but remember, Stalker reinforcements are amassing. Thankfully, Jieshi does repower those batteries. So the batteries are repowered. I'm hoping for a second. Yep, there we go. 2 pylons as well, just in case. So 2 pylons are set up. Void Rays are coming on the Prism. Yeah, massive pickup. Prism goes. Oh no! Prism goes down for the cost of a Void. Does he have the second one as well? Barely. Oh, does. Oh my god. Second Void Ray goes down. Massive pickup. 0 Void Rays left, and Trap is no longer in control. Again, Jieshi saw the all-in coming ahead of time. He prepared as well, but last he was disrupted early on. He was supply blocked. He overextended with the Void Rays. Without the Void Rays, there is no defense. And Trap, he has done it. He is breaking on through. Snowball's out of control. Breaks through the shield batteries, and alas, there's barely anything left. Barely anything remaining. He can 3-shot. 1, 2, 3 volleys. Another Void Ray falls. We're down to 3 Stalkers, down to 2. And soon to be down to 1, and soon to be down to none. As we're just bursting through all the shield battery health, all the shield battery support, all the energy. Nothing left. GG. GG gets called, and Trap, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG. GG, well played, Trap. He will take a lead in the series. Winding it back, remember, how did this all unfold? Well, Jieshi went for a greedier build. He went for a single gas opener, faster Nexus. Trap, he scattered. Trap, he reacted. He responded with a 1-base all-in to punish the greed. And even though Jieshi saw it coming ahead of time, and even though Jieshi was able to prepare batteries and get ready with his Stargate, he did overextend. He did end up losing that first pylon. He was shut down early on at his natural, and likewise did overextend with a Void Rays and did lose every single one. GG. You got to look after. You got to babysit your Void Rays, Pap. You got to babysit. You got to look after them, otherwise it will just crumble. And with that, Trap will take a lead in the series. Fun fact, and I stand by this, even if we get a macro game here, the series itself is going to be shorter than the break. It's going to be Smoge, pappy, Smoge. Let's go. And again, we spoke about this at the start of the series. PvPs are very often like this. 1-base all-ins are very much so prevalent in PvP. That is the norm, that is the meta, that is the standard, and we expect more hyper-aggressive builds. We'll see if Jieshi calms down and goes for something more aggressive as well, or if he attempts to be greedy again 2 games in a row. Remember, this is a best of 3. It's a best of 3, so right now Jieshi is up against the ropes here, and Trap, he needs una más, 1 more game to claim it. Let's go. Let us go. Esta es la grasa. Buenos días, papi. Buenos días. Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos. Yes, exclamation mark B in the chat if you maybe have not seen the bracket yet. If you want to catch up with the bracket. As we're getting ready for that second game. Bearing in mind, this is the final game, this is the final series of this group, of Group D. Oliveira was the first player to advance on out of the group, and we're here to determine the second player to join Oliveira in the playoffs. It'll be a Protoss, but which one? Will be a Protoss. Likewise, after Group D, we will have Group B, I believe. I think it's Group B or Group A. Let's have a look here. A, sorry, my apologies. So Group A is going to be scheduled thereafter. It's going to be a very Terran-heavy group. We'll get into it, of course. For now, let's jump in. Let's jump on in, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Trap, the South Korean Protoss. And in the top left-hand corner, we do have Jieshi, the Chinese Protoss. Let's go. Let us go. Whew, as we're going to be loading into Rainfall. Okay, Rainfall is going to be up next here. Rainfall is a much smaller map of the map pool. Aggression is favored on Rainfall. You can all in without even proxying. You can just go for a one base all in from back at home and still be quite successful in that kind of play as well. So we'll see if anyone tries to be greedy again. Last game it was Jieshi. Jieshi, he did try to cut some corners. He did try to be hyper greedy, and Jieshi, he was punished. This time we're hoping that Jieshi calms things down, and we might see both players be aggressive and have that back and forth, or we might see both players play safe, calm things down, and then build up into an economy. We'll see. We shall see. For those that are curious about Oliveira versus Jieshi, that did happen off stream. Series was off stream, so we weren't able to quite cover that. We weren't able to see it. Here we go. Here we go. As the probe does move out. I'm surprised no one I've seen has tried Dark Templar to force early air. Excuse me? If you're talking about like one base DT all-ins, they're very rare in PvP. The problem with the one base DT all-in is that, if that's what you're referring to, is that it's very common in PvP where if you do scout an all-in coming your way, typically you'd respond with a safety robo for immortal production or a safety stargate for void ray production. And in doing so, both kind of tech structures allow for some detection. Stargate gives you the oracle, robo gives you the observer. So rushing into DTs isn't really viable in PvP. You see it like every now and then, like maybe like once a month sort of thing at the highest level of play. But it's a very like niche build. It's a very niche build that you'd mix in. Was there stronger all-ins out there? Oh, you mean in the new patch, due to the fast warp-ins, I guess you're referring to? I mean, what I said still applies, where typically you'd, if you smelled like something aggressive in a delayed expansion, you would still get an early robo or an early Stargate, specifically in PvP. Specifically in this matchup. But again, you do definitely see players sometimes go for like a hidden dark shrine, try to fake like a blink all in, and then bam, catch someone off guard. But as I said, it's very niche. It's a very rare build. Can work. If the stars align, it can work for sure. But they gotta align. It's very gambly. For now, though, we do see Jeshi's going to be the first player to expand. Both players did open up Adept, so double Adept from both Jieshi and Trap. Going to be testing each other's walls as we build up in towards the early game. So this time, much more standard openers. No one rush into a Nexus this time. Do see both players engage here in the center of the map. Ooh, and Jieshi will lose both Adepts. Some heavy losses here for Jieshi, losing both Adepts. Ay. Now, what's scary is that this early on, you don't have many warp-ins. You don't have many units in general. So to lose 2 Adepts, that is a massive loss there for Jieshi. Trap will move out across the map. Behind this, going for his Twilight Council into Blink. Meanwhile, Jieshi opening up Robo. So, sorry, the opposite way. Jieshi is going into Twilight Council to Blink. Meanwhile, Trap is going to the Robo. So more of a robust setup out of Trap, more defensive with immortal production. Jieshi going into Blink. Here we go. I keep assuming that the top name is the player on top. That's not true. We gotta lock in. Hallucination will confirm the tech. We'll confirm what Trap is up to. As a result of our tech choices here, Jieshi will have map control. He'll be able to build up his stalker count, gain map control, and force back Trap. As I mentioned with the Robo Opener, typically it means a more defensive start from Trap with early Immortal production. Despite talking about early Immortals, we are going for the early War Prism to be able to harass across the map. I would imagine this is just for Adepts. 2 Adepts can one-shot probes, so trying to sneak Adepts into a base can be devastating. So we'll see what Trap gets up to, whether he does go for the Adept drop or into the Sentry drop, which is a little bit more old school. If you remember, it was last year, it was like early last year where we did see a bunch of Sentry drops, where you drop in 4 Sentries, force field the mineral line, and kill a good amount of workers. But no, the Sentries are kept back at home. War Prism is moving out. And we'll see what Trap can get done. So as Trap is going to be harassing with the Adepts, he is building up his Immortal count. As I mentioned, it's going to be a much more robust army. Trap does have to be careful though. Because of Blink, the Prism is going to be exposed. It's going to be vulnerable. So far, unscouted. Jieshi does slip in. Once again, just keeping an eye on the gateway count to make sure there's no crazy 2-way stalling coming his way. Here come the Adepts. If you recall, remember, 2 Adepts and 1-shot probes. And we have 2 Adepts on the right and 2 Adepts on the left. Trap is moving in. He's activating. Yeah, here come those 2 Adepts. Soon going to be go time for Trap. We can see Jieshi trying to tech up as well, going for a faster third. And Trap does find some damage here, but he's going to get shut down. Yeah, 2 Adepts going to fall. At the same time, the Prism doesn't get into the main. Yeah, Trap, he does not move in. Doesn't move in. Doesn't risk it. I mean, he wouldn't know the blink timing, of course. Just holding off for now. So we're holding off. As I mentioned before, Jieshi, he's going to have a much higher stalker count, and he's going to be building up his gateway composition. Trap is working on, I want to say, his 3rd Immortal. I want to say. Maybe just 2nd. Likewise, Trap, he's building up his army, getting into Immortal production, into Charge Out, and eventually into Archon. This is a very standard composition here from both players. But let's get curious. So initially, your army consists of Mass Stalker, and then Immortals, they surpass and they outscale Stalkers. So you have your Immortal army. Then to help with that, you get Zealots. Zealots are a very good buffer. They tank very well and very nicely against Immortals and against Stalkers. So then you go into Mass Zealots. And how do you counter Mass Zealot? Archons. You can see Trap, he's morphing in High Templar as we speak, to morph into Archons, and that's the counter to the Zealot. So in the end, you end up with a Charged Out Archon Immortal Blink Stalker composition. And that's kind of the bread and butter of mid-game PvP. Where do you go from here? Well, from here, if you want to go into mid to late game, would be Disruptors. You throw down a Bay, 2nd Robo into Disruptors. But that's not really often seen anymore. Like, we usually kind of stick with this composition and just commit. Once again, both players are taking up into the same composition in their own way. We do have a slight upgrade lead for Trap, but only slight, by a couple of seconds. I believe Trap still maintains a higher Immortal count, which may come into play. It may come down to that. Otherwise, both players are being relatively passive. And no rush 10 minutes, true. Also, as soon as I say that, Jieshi starts to move out. The Prism is still ready for a backstab, but bear that in mind. Speaking of, Trap does move in. At the same time, Jieshi is pushing towards a 3rd. Uh-oh. Yeah, Jieshi is pushing forward. You can see Jeshi's main army turns back around. Uh-oh. Nice distraction. Going for the warp in. Prism goes down, but Jieshi turns everything around, so Trap is buying time. He's buying time. He's going to bleed out some Zealots, though. Let's say do attempt to focus fire. Getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 probes. Assuming 5, 3. never mind. 3 probes go down. Adepts try to distract. But is this good enough is the question. We have not panned to Trap's army in quite some time. We're gonna pan over. Like how many Archons does he have? How many Immortals does he have? 3? Ah, it's Zealot heavy. Okay. So Jieshi's army is, you can see here, Jieshi has a larger army, but lower quality. So the soup is lying to you. If you were only looking at the supplies, it's like, oh, Jieshi has a bigger number. Yes, that's true, but Jieshi is very heavy on Zealots, which means a higher Archon count is more efficient. So Jieshi can't engage. He cannot just aim move in, otherwise he will lose all those Zealots. You gotta respect the Archons. Speaking of Stalkers, they tried to chip away at the army. They trigger the shields. They trigger those shields. Nice hold position micro. Trap pulling back. Zealot, he wants his Immortals. He does want them, and he's going to get them. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 Immortals are exposed. They're going to go down real fast and real. Oh my god, the Force was working in favor of Trap here. Oh no! No, who is it? That was not the time. The Immortals, they pull away. Very nice force field. Zealots, they just melt, and now there's Stalkers remaining. Just Stalkers, but hey, Jieshi, he is pushing through. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a lag spike here. It's happening on the server side, on the... Yeah, because... No, it's... Now is not the time. It looks like the Observer's lagging out. No. This is a pretty important fight. Like, we... But yeah, it looks like there's oh, looks like here we do have some latency issues here. Jieshi does commit, and looks like he will break the third, and it looks like he has enough. Looks like Jieshi does have enough. Unfortunately, we missed out on the main fights. Like when the army's engaged, and when we saw force fields protect the Immortals, like that was so crucial and so important. And then that was the first freeze, and we didn't see the fight like at all. GG gets called. Jieshi overwhelms, and Jieshi, he will take it game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. It's a shame that the main fight happened when everything was frozen. It is a shame. Again, that was like the most important part of the fight as well, where Trap overextended with his Immortals. So running it back, Trap, he did overextend. He did lose 1 Immortal. He saved the other 2 with force fields, which was impressive, but for the Immortals to start the fight in front of the army was brutal. So a really rough engage there by Trap. I will say that Trap had potential to win that fight, but again, the engage was lackluster there. Winding it back again, because the Immortals are far forward, ideally they want to be behind the Archons to be able to dish out all that damage, but they were the first things to be targeted. And then from there, we did see, I assume Jieshi focused down the rest of the Gateway army and then overwhelm. And with that, we are getting into game number 3, the ace match. Once again, hopefully connectivity issues get sorted out throughout the course of the broadcast. This is the second time that someone's lagged out a little bit. Here was the Observer. In the previous series, I think it was Trap, right? I think Trap was lagging out. So there's been a little bit of, it's been a little bit unstable. And yeah, you could also see the frustration on the players when that happened as well, right? Like you're mid-fight, you're locked in, and then bam, like everything's frozen. Yeah, hopefully we can iron all of that out. Let's get ready here for the ace match. Vamonos. No. Do I see any other shirts in the crowd? I see Oliveira, of course. Of course, a lot of Oliveira fans. How could you not be? But here we go. We're getting to the ace match. Game 3 between Trap and Jieshi. We're currently tied up 1-1, and this could still go either way. I'm curious as to the map of choice here. Game 2 was a little more passive. Both players kind of built up. As I mentioned at the time, Trap did have a higher tech army with more Archons, but a lot of that comes down to the engage, right? It comes down to, when it came to the main fight, we didn't get to see, but like, were the Archons actually engaging? Were they a little bit too far behind? They have less range. They can be a little bit clunky at times, depending on your angle of attack. And also, again, Trap had his Immortals forward. But here we go. Game 3. In the top right hand corner, we do have Trap, the South Korean Protoss. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the Chinese Protoss player. It is Jieshi. Let's go. Let us go. Because we don't have clean feed audio, I've been trying to look up the StarCraft 2 OST. Fun fact. No, for now though. For now, again, we're going to be opening up here. We're going to Washout. Washout is, I would say, one of the, don't want to say larger maps. I mean, it is, right? But it's a bit of a larger map in the map pool. We have seen a lot of aggression on Washouts, just because of the accessibility of the third base of the area outside of the natural as well. Oh god, it's a little bit loud. Calm down. But we have seen a lot more aggression here, and PvP, I mean, you can never count out aggression, right? Like, you can always be in each other's faces. And Trap does open up here with his second gas geyser. Jieshi staying on one gas for the time being, and eyes are on Jieshi to see if he once again tries to rush a faster Nexus. Trap moving out of this probe. With this, he can go for a very committed proxy or a fake pylon, one or the other. Again, it does look like Jieshi wants to go for a faster Nexus. Trap, does he commit with the pylon? He will hide it, but does he do anything with it? Based on the proxy location here for Trap, it looks like it will not be a proxy robo. It's either going to be just a fake proxy pylon or a proxy Stargate. Or a proxy Twilight Council. For now, Jieshi moves in, Jieshi scouts, Jieshi does see that a pylon is missing, so he's aware that something is wrong. Something is not quite right. And Trap, he does float around the area of the pylon, but he doesn't go back to it. Yeah, he doesn't go back to it, so it looks like Trap is just a fake out. Oh, I say that. Yeah. Just a fake out. And he's like, ooh, what's the probe gets caught in the mineral line. Nice moves out of Trap. Nice moves, and we'll see if he can force an overreaction. And Jieshi sets up on the low ground, opening up double adepts. No big reaction. Jieshi calling his bluff. As Jieshi should expand. Yep, there it is. Nexus does not flinch. Doesn't flinch, doesn't get a robo, doesn't get a Stargate. He didn't see the pylon, but he believes that it is not real, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong, Pappy. And with that, Jieshi is going to be threatening a harass. Ooh, does get caught out though. He might kill the sentry, but we'll lose the adepts. Okay, 1, 2 adepts going to be going down. We'll barely snipe that sentry in time. Hallucination did still pop. And with that hallucination Trap, he should get eyes and confirm the faster Nexus. So now Trap is aware of how greedy Jieshi has been, and we'll see if Trap can punish. Nah, just taking up. Okay, just taking up. Later Nexus, into a Twilight Council. Trap working towards Blink. Again, working towards Blink. Just applying some pressure, forcing out a second shield battery here out of Jieshi. So once again, trying to force an overreaction, and is doing some inadvertent damage. Oh, that's actually, he does warp in to commit. Yeah, Trap will reinforce. Diving on the sentries, will try to get one. Yeah, one sentry goes down, and might even get a second. Okay, not bad. 2 sentries. So I'll split out some Stalkers, so we do have a bit of a trade. Trading out Stalkers for sentries. Trap, he has to pull away. As he does not get into the main. Quick moves by Jieshi. Quick moves. Oh, hello, and we have a Dark Shrine behind this. Okay, so this is not a DT rush like we saw proposed previously, but this is going to be a DTs in the mix. Now, I believe coming into the mid game here, there is no Robo. No Robo currently for Trap. He did go Twilight Council into Blink, but there is no Robo. So the longer this game goes on, and the longer this goes on without a Robo, Trap is going to be more in danger. Now, it is very common to get a Robo before third base. It's very standard to do so. But there are builds where you can decide to cut corners and expand before Robo. Hallucinations on the way. Yeah, the hallucination is coming, and I believe it should confirm the tech. There's that third before Robo, so Trap is being greedy, but he confirms. Oh wait, does he? The hallucination saw, but did Trap see? Does Trap know what he saw? Because if he didn't click on it, it looks like a pylon. That's the issue here. It can be mistaken for a pylon. Robo gets thrown down, and a forge. Yeah, he knows. Robo and a forge. But this is a late reaction by Trap. There's a window in time where DTs can hit pre-detection. And here comes the Dark Templar. They're waddling in. How much damage can be dealt? Trap needs more time. Yeah, for now he's distracted. Dark Templar, they're waddling in. They're waddling into the bases, and probes are going to start going down. Going for the Robo? It was on A move. It was on A move, but there we go. 4, 5, 6, 7 probes going to be going down. Critical damage. And is this game? This might just be game. This might just be too much here. Observer is now on the way, but that's going to be 13 kills. At the same time, Trappy commits across the map. Blinks in. Yeah, he blinks into the natural base. Is there a ground army? Oh. Jieshi, the ground army is non-existent. So on the one hand, yes, Jieshi is killing a bunch of workers, and he has the defensive DT as well, defensive warp in. 23 probes going to be going down. 23, 24, but at the same time, there is still no observer. And Trappy has to blink away. He has to avoid the Dark Templar. Bleeds out more stalkers. And there's one observer. Okay, there's one observer on the map, but it's still not here. Where's the observer, Pappy? Yeah, stalkers are going to be forced away. We're getting messy. We're getting chaotic. Trap, he's down in workers. He needs more damage. And does find a couple of probes. Meanwhile, where's the observer, by the way? Where is it? ¿A dónde está? Looks like the observer is staying home. Yeah, it does look like it's staying home. And as it settles here, Jieshi has a 4 probe lead. So Jeshi's up in workers. Likewise, up in upgrades, working on +1. Trap does have a more mobile army with Blink, but he needs more damage here. As again, I believe the Observer... Oh no, the Observer moved out! Oh no. Yeah, the Observer is now with the main army, but it can't really achieve anything here. Not anymore. There might be a recall for the Observer. Oof. Yeah, Stalkers are going down. There's too much. Trappy's losing too much. He's losing. He does have cannons. Yeah, cannons are home to defense. Trap is holding. But Trap is... No, there's no cannon! Oh, there's no cannon for natural. There is an observer, but probes go down, and these are losses that he can't afford. He cannot afford this. Yeah, the cannon was further to the right-hand side. 5 more probes going down. Trap is struggling. He's lost too much, Bappy. Yeah, he's lost too much. From here, Jieshi just enjoying a greater economy and building further up. And there is a chance to recover here for Trap, but he is heavily reliant on harassing damage. So think of like Adept Harass or Warp Prism Harass or Zealot Run-Bys, like things of that nature. If he can try to catch Jieshi out of position, then he can find some damage that way, but that's the only way, right? Like that's really all that we're banking on here for Trap. As he's slowly being outscaled. I mean, there's a world where he can maybe take a better fight as well and have better positional play. But it is looking bleak here for Trap. We're just making DTs, just making them. The regular gateway production, that be true. 4th base now on the way. And again, wanting it back when it comes to the build itself, Trap was greedy. If you remember, we spoke about how it is standard to get a Robo before third, but Trap, he got a third before Robo, right? Like Trap, he was cutting corners, he was being greedy. I should also emphasize that Trap did scout the Dark Shrine, but it was a delayed reaction. Remember, Trap, he didn't throw down the Forge and the Robo until well after his hallucination had seen the Dark Shrine. So it was a delayed reaction to what he had seen. It was a greedier build to begin with. And in the end, he was punished for it. And we spoke about something like this earlier, how sometimes the stars do align, and this is an example of that. Where Trap didn't recognize what he had seen, and likewise, he was also being greedy to begin with his build. So the stars aligned. You see Trap trying to move out with the harass. Trap is moving out. Meanwhile, we have the fast warp-ins here for those zealots. Here come the reinforcements. And Trap cannot defend. No shot. He cannot hold it against us. He has no Archons. He has one. He has one Archon to defend. Zealots take a lapse in. A second Archon left-hand side. But alas, through sheer numbers, Jieshi, he will just overwhelm. Pushing into the natural. And there's no batteries, no defensive setup. Oof. Yeah, Jeshi's Archons, they punish. They punish the army, getting us up to the Temple Archives. The boys are being pulled into the Archons, and again, desperation out of Trap. He traveled all the way from Korea, but yeah, you can see it. He knows it as well. GG gets called, and Jieshi will claim the series 2-1, and Jieshi will advance on to the playoffs alongside Oliveira. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, Jieshi. He will claim the series. Again, a Trap, he was being greedy. He did scout, the hallucination did see, but he himself did not recognize it until a little bit later, and every second does count when you have to deal with something like Dark Templar. We saw that Trap did embrace that chaotic situation, was able to counterattack and kill a good amount of workers, but not as much. He killed like 28 probes, but he still came out behind in the working out, behind in the economy, and likewise his own build was disrupted as well. So with that, Jieshi snowballed out of control, claims the series, and with that, Trap is out of the tournament. Trap is out of Douyu Cup. I would have loved to have seen some more Trap, that is true, but at the same time, this also means that Gemini can spend time with Trap as well. Ah, he can console him. Ah, no. GG. GG, well played. I don't know if we're going to get a winner's interview. That I'm not entirely certain of. So we'll see. We'll see. I know that we didn't get a winner's interview with Oliveira, but they might get one with Jieshi just because he's on stage. Otherwise, we're going to be going on a break and we're going to be getting ready for the next group. Remember, this was Group D. So Group D, Oliveira and Jieshi do make it through. Meanwhile, Group B will be taking place after this, featuring Sue, featuring Fantasy, featuring Coffee and TY. A very heavy Terran group. We got one Zerg and Sue surrounded by Terran. So it's going to be a spicy one as well. Like, I look forward to seeing Sue, TY, and Fantasy once again. Coffee is gonna be the most informed. I would favor Coffee and Sue, to be honest, because they're both the most informed. But we'll see what TY and Fantasy are looking like for sure. We shall see, as they've been retired for longer. Have been retired for longer. Just catching up. With a small army, why not keep Templar back for Psystorm? Psystorm is not very viable in PvP. That's why you never see Storm in PvP. Just because of shields and just because of the damage output. Like, it's just not. It tickles more than anything. There are better splash damage units in PvP, like Archons, which you saw used to great effect. Like Archons, they're a lot more robust and they can punish charge lots a lot better, as opposed to Storm, where Zealots, they just run through it. They just run through storms. DTs did work. How to see someone try? As I mentioned, this is not rushing. This was not rushing to DTs though. This was hidden DTs, but in the mid game instead. It's in the mid game. So you're looking cracked and brutal right now. There you go. There you go. It's catching up. As it looks like we're going to be cut to a break. Just catching up with the chat. Oh. But okay, we're going to be cutting to a break. When we come back, we'll have Sue versus Fantasy in a ZVT. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon, Pappy.